Nobody likes waking up and feeling like crap. With Ghostbed, you don't need to worry about that. At Ghostbed, you'll find made in the USA mattresses with premium materials and backed by 20 to 25-year warranties. Plus, take 101 nights to break it in with their sleep trial. Listeners can get 40% off all products site-wide. You can get 40% off mattresses, adjustable bases, and bedding accessories. Or get 50% off when you bundle a mattress with an adjustable base. Use promo code Lewis at ghostbed.com/Lewis for 40% off site-wide. Limited time only. Today's show is sponsored by Microdose Gummies. Microdose Gummies deliver perfect entry-level doses of THC that help you feel just the right amount of good. That's nice, isn't it? Have you ever wondered what microdosing is? Those who microdose do so for a variety of reasons. It might be to reduce anxiety, get in the zone creatively, or recover after a strenuous workout. Well, not me. Multitaskers microdose so they can focus and get work done. Others might need it to reduce anxiety or to wind down the day and get some restful sleep. That's the reason I use Microdose Gummies. They do help me get sleep, and boy, do I ever need it. I haven't slept well for years, and this truly helps me out. I'm serious. Microdose is available nationwide, by the way, and to learn more about microdosing THC, go to microdose.com and use code LEWIS, that's LEWIS, to get free shipping and 30% off your first order. Links can be found in the show description, but again, that's microdose.com and code Lewis. Hello, and before we begin I know it's quite sad, the last Rantcast of this year, I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of you who've been in the audience out there during this tour this past year, because it has been a joy for me to perform for you, and I hope I gave half of what you gave me back. If I've done that, I've been successful. I can't tell you what you mean to me. The world. That's my vague attempt. There are other words, and hopefully I will find them as I cruise through this, the final year, really, that I will be on tour. I'm going to be around, yes, and I will be doing things, but I will not be on a bus rolling around for 100 shows a year. I'll pop up here and there. I'll be like a pop-up store. I want to take a moment, as I do at the beginning of every Rantcast as of late, to just let you know where I'm going to be, because that's it. It's all self-promotion. It's all self-advertisement. And I'm really not good at it. But I'm going to let you know again that all of the cities that I'm at, if you go to lewisblack.com, you will find out the theaters and what times, and you can pick up a membership to the Lewis Black Fan Club, which will provide you the best seats in the house and will beat the price of Ticketmaster. And it is the one way that I have found that we can beat the scalpers. But you're charging money, Lewis, because we need a human being to be able to talk to you and be sure you get everything that you basically get your tickets and get your seat, and are there to help you out. And here's where I'll be. January 18th that's the begins in Monterey, California, then on to Santa Barbara, California, and then on to Anaheim, California. And then the next week in Modesto on the 25th, Brooks, California on the 26th, the 27th in Reno, Nevada, where I'll be making a ton of money at the video poker machine, and I can see it right now, which is really sad. I hope it's still there. And then on January 28th, one of the great joys of my life was to perform at the Santa Rosa at the Luther Burbank. I was able to do a CD there, the Luther Burbank Center for the Performing Arts. One take. That's the way it was going to be. That was the show. Boom, get it out there. It's just one of the great places to do comedy. It truly is. And it was one of George Carlin's favorite places. I think it's where he did his last special. So it's always held a warm place in my heart. And let's just go to Denver next on February 2nd, February 3rd, Boulder, and February 4th in Fort Collins, Colorado. You can get tickets for every show if you want. Follow me around like fish. Not if you're fish, like those who follow fish. And also, Europe, I'm coming your way in May. I'll be in England, and I'll be in Berlin, and I'll be in Amsterdam, and I'll be in Brussels, and I will be in Stockholm, Sweden. Also, at the end of the month, I will be in Lisbon, and so in May 31st. So I'm hoping you join me, and then Inside Out 2 opens June 14th. And that's what I got from here. I'll be back in just a moment. This could all go horribly wrong at any minute. Hello and welcome to the 158th edition of Lewis Black's Rantcast, entitled "It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year." Oh, yes, it is. Is it really? Yes, sure. Why not? Maybe. Who cares? Who knows? But I happen to think maybe this year it is, because after a year like this one, to have all of a sudden a Christmas holiday in which we can huddle in and see our friends and take the time and kind of maybe after a year like this hold on to each other and just hope that this madness ends soon, because it has been crazyville all year, and we are not getting any help from our leadership. But I yelled and screamed all last week about all of the stuff that was irritating me no end, and I refuse to do it this week because it's the most wonderful time of the year. Yes, I may go into a singing mode at most of my shows, and I know that's really something it'll kill ticket sales, but it'll certainly warm the cockles of my own heart. No one will not sing. But I do want to first off share with you. I've never hung lights when I'm living alone. Never hung Christmas lights, but these came from my very good friend Kathleen Madigan, and I just had to share them with you. These are, I can't believe this, celebrating the great outdoors. These are the shotgun shell light set. You wouldn't really know until you got up close to it. It says, Sure Shot, I think 3 gauge. Is that possible? Shouldn't it be 12 gauge? It's what it says. It's for 3 inches. I don't know what that means. Or we're 3 with 2 little, I don't know. Lord knows, but she sent it along to be sold eventually, since this will be the end of the road for me to open my Jewy's gun shop. And these, I'm sure, will be a top seller there at Christmas time. I'm very excited about this. And maybe a shotgun shell menorah. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Yeah, oh, sure. What the hell? And I think if they had a shotgun shell menorah, she would have sent that along. This comes from the Cabela's. She got it there, but I'm gonna beat them to it when I have Jewy's gun shop open. And yes, it will be in Alabama. I'm still scouting the territory, where it's almost the most impossible place to find in Alabama. And to repeat my old joke, so that folks will pour down there in streams, because they're going to, and try to find me, because they're going to be wondering, where is Jewy's gun shop? Where is it? And she also sent along, and this is truly even more psychotic than this behind me, brisket candy canes. Seriously, there's 7 of them. Brisket candy canes. Something I guess only a Jew could love. Well, I don't want that peppermint candy cane. It's not, but boy, it's for Hanukkah. You can't beat a brisket. I'm going to try this in honor of her and for her show, where she tries a number of things. She sent this along. She basically didn't do it on her show. She was so I'm kind of excited to kind of taste it first and then send it off to her to try. I don't know where this is beyond belief. And it turns out it's really kind of a candy cane inside. It tastes like it tastes just a little bit better than my mother's brisket, which is was horrific at times. She just didn't really enjoy cooking, she just didn't. I don't think she wanted to do that. It was not something that interested her at all. She passed that gene on to me, but my brother loved to cook, and I wish he were around to join me in a bit of wassail and a Heidi ho to the brisket to the brisket candy cane. It is just about awful. My mother's would become, as I said, a million years ago, that she kind of boiled a brisket, so it became like a billion rubber bands. It was they'd used it in the war. They should have. It would have been great as to make tires, because it's had the consistency of rubber. But this is just horrific. I'm going to take a little bite. Wow. You can see there's a candy cane inside. I gotta get rid of this. A, I can't talk with it in my mouth. B, I don't want it in my mouth. Wow. Whew. Wow. Wowie, wow. That's enough of that. Thank you, Kathleen, for the first real set decoration I've had here in my cable access studio, and certainly for this, reminding me of the fact of why I've never been a big fan of a brisket unless it's done absolutely right, like soaked in beer and barbecue sauce, or a really good corned beef brisket, or unless it's corned beef. It tastes like licorice inside, which is senseless. But I guess that's what gives it its delightful brisketian flavor. Brisketian, he's come up with a new word. All right, I gotta go spit this out. I just, if you see the brisket candy cane, I would say avoid it unless you wanted to do something for a friend that you wanted to really disturb them, or maybe they're psychotic brisket lovers, and that might be a reason to get them. But they're there, and they're for sale, and it makes it really the most wonderful time of the year when you are selling brisket candy canes. We are into a whole new realm. They are wrapping that candy cane in every form of shit. It's not candy corn. It's a candy cane. It's peppermint, and that's the way it should be. And I'm sorry, maybe I'm old school, but there's got to be other things you could flavor that than brisket. I'm sure there's a bacon one, but I can't. How do you make it as good as bacon? And then really, it's antithetical to many Jews can't have that in their diet, but certainly it's never bothered me. Without pork, there'd be no reason to wake up. I'll tell you that. It is the most wonderful time of the year because of these delightful accoutrements. But no, it was unbelievably not the most wonderful time of the year in Florida, because I went down there in just hopes where it's December. It's been it certainly has gotten colder up here, but it's still, not terrible. And I thought, boy, get down there. I read it was supposed to be in the 70s. It seemed like it was going to be really good. Saw the sun once. Saw the sun came out for just a moment. They were not happy down there, and I cannot blame them. And it didn't make it seem more Christmassy. I've never understood Florida. It just doesn't seem to be the environment for Christmas, but there were trees, more trees. There are more trees everywhere in this country than I have ever. Christmas trees everywhere. I mean, like people can't get enough Christmas trees onto a plot of land. I mean, it is extraordinary. But it's never, even with it being cool going on, and the only reason it was coldish is we were at Stuart, Florida, by the water, Jacksonville, and St. Petersburg, and Great shows, audiences great, everything about it great. But really was hoping it was just going to be a bit warmer, and it was. It just wasn't. And with the wind, they're all near water. The wind coming off the wind coming off the water. It made it too cold. It was too cold. Not cold, bad cold, but just like, come on. I wanted that one more taste of the warmth before I return to it going to be cold as, hell up here. But it was the day that I kind of was coming back here. It was a beautiful day in New York. I got here too late for that. And then it started pouring rain. It didn't rain much in Florida. It just was gray, shitty gray, and windy as hell. And that was really also didn't help it in terms of the weather. It was, and I was, and certainly I was going to go hit some golf balls. No reason to do that. They'd come flying back and hit me in the face. And not that it takes a wind for that to happen. So it was. It was not the most wonderful time of the year in Florida. It was, but I hope for them that it gets nicer and things warm up and they can celebrate Christmas in 80-degree weather again. And we were lucky enough. The folks at the Mahaffey Theater in St. Petersburg, Florida, they have a new restaurant there. They were doing what they call a soft opening machine. They'd only been open like a week, and they were, I think, generally it means they're not. It's just kind of invited folks and stuff, and and it was really spectacular. The food was just incredible. It was a pleasure. A blackened grouper that just hit the spot, and it was really nice to be able to sit down, really, as the tour was winding down with James and Jeff, and have that meal with a terrific bottle of wine, and that made it maybe the most wonderful time of the day. It was because it was just a really fun show. It's a beautiful theater, and it was a pleasure. And I was sorry that I missed. When I was there going over to if you're ever down there, the day of the premier Dali Museum in the United States. And he's one of the guys who hooked me on art because I just was, wow, how did he paint that? And it was really, I blew that one, but it was, but the meal made up for it. And with a couple of glasses of wine, I forgot that I hadn't seen the Dolly, and it was just a pleasure from beginning to end. It was 3 really fun shows, and couldn't be happier to be in the land of DeSantis. And if my crowds were any indication, they weren't happy, but I'm sure that the folks who were, big supporters of his down there didn't really kind of go, oh, let's go see Louis Black and hear what he's got to say about him. I do have to say that I'm waiting for him to smile. I saw him today try to do it on TV and this morning, and he's just incapable. But and then incapable of answering questions, and then I don't think they ask the right questions. So it's instead of asking and being more direct about things, they allow him to kind of skirt around the question. That's bullshit. It doesn't help. And just another quickie: Donald Trump today or last night in a fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago talked to the rich as hell donors in the room and promised that if he was elected, he would be getting them some new tax cuts, because that's what they need. They're not getting enough money. They literally, every one of their portfolios, that's right, that's the word used for when you have stock market money, has boomed in the last week. I mean, fucking exploded. And so enough's enough, all right? They don't need new tax cuts. What we need to do is get things in order. We need to get our house in order economically. It's not socialist to believe that, people who've been given the gift of living in this country with capitalism and the protections provided by the government for them, should at least feel the generosity of giving back, and kind of evening the playing field. The playing field is so lopsided. I don't remember anything like it in my lifetime, not even close, not even in the ballpark. Okay. At this time of year, too. For him to say it at this time of year, it's just insane. And then yelling about, oh, no, I won't. Let's stop. Let's move on. This is the time when we give money for the charities, which are a splendid tax write-off for many people. And it's good that we have that. But it really, a lot of it should be things like I was reading today, there was a group that asked for money who works with the mentally ill. I mean, that should be, that's the state and the federals, the medical profession. That's who should deal with it. Okay, and the state and the feds should really try to figure out how to deal with mental illness and how to be able to help people cope, because things aren't good out there, not at all. But it's the most wonderful time of the year. And I'm sorry to dig into that, but what the hell? But we lost Norman Lear and recently, and that's not that was rough. I mean, rough not in the sense. I mean, he lived a rich, full life, and the legacy is astonishing, and truly one of the most gifted. In terms of television and sitcoms. He took sitcom to another level completely. And I have a Norman Lear story, as some of you may have heard before, but it was truly incredible. Years ago, I got a phone call when I was living in an apartment where the toilet was in its own little space, and then there was the kitchen. In the kitchen, there was a refrigerator, and the refrigerator was right across from the shower. And I always thought that, something horrifying could happen. I could electrocute myself, that way. And it was a dump. A dump is being kind. The ceiling was kind of cracked up. If the ceiling had problems, and it was actually there was holes in there were holes in the ceiling. Tell him, Lewis, there were holes in the ceiling, jackass. And I tried to get the landlord didn't fix them. I was not making a ton of money at the time, but I was becoming known, and I was probably on the Daily Show, and I certainly was, and been doing Conan, so there was a certain amount of notoriety at that point. And the phone rang, and I picked it up, and I heard the voice, and it's that iconic voice he has for, as soon as I heard it, I knew it was, my God, it's Norman Lear. And my brain just started clicking. It's Norman Lear, and he's calling me, and this is it. This is it. I'm out of here. I'm looking around this apartment. Bye-bye. Goodbye. I'm out of here. Norman Lear's called from the West Coast, and all I have to do is kind of wait here for the offer, and things are going to change. And I'm going to pack and get the fuck out of here. And we're going west, like my friend Marklin Baker. I'm sure there's a part for me. He's calling to give me a role in one of those incredible. This will be the new one. The angry guy. Who whatever. I didn't care. I just thought my head was on fire. My brain. Bop, 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 bop. And hi, Lewis. This is Norman Lear. Yes, Mr. Lear. Pleasure to hear from you. Well, I was wondering, and what were you wondering? If you've ever done a bar mitzvah. And I was like, oh my God. I'm not getting, or maybe it's a show about a bar mitzvah. Maybe he wants me to play an angry rabbi. No, it was that his son was being bar mitzvahed. And I was his son's favorite comic. And the only gift he thought that would really make his son happy was for me to perform at his bar mitzvah. And I went, sounds good to me. And what do you get for that kind of thing? And I don't really know. I've never done one. But he was very generous, and I was very brokenhearted initially. But I thought I'll get out there. There'll be all of these bigwigs at the bar mitzvah, I'm sure, and one of them will certainly get me a role. And or Norman, once he sees the work up close and personal, he'll go, God, I really have to think about putting him into a show. And I, of course, didn't, because it was just starting to get off the ground. I didn't really go, take him aside and go, I've got an idea. I had no idea. I was overwhelmed. It's Norman Lear. And, what I'm going to give him an idea. And I was hoping he would give me an idea. So it was a joy to have spent that time with him. That bar mitzvah was very funny. It was all the kids were in front of me and all the adults were on the side. And I did the show for those kids. And what would be kind of what considered a tough situation was terrific. And it was a joy and it was a pleasure. And I got to spend some time with him just before he passed, really. And that was, we had an incredible conversation. And he requested this. He called and wanted to see me. And it made me, if look, you don't get the pilot, Lewis. You get to spend time with one of the great minds and great people that you're ever going to see. That really you don't, that you're ever going to meet. And it was good. I saw him another time here in the city, and I'm glad I spent time with him. It enriched my life, and did all of his work. And I think, it meant a lot to me. And so it also, before I go, it means a lot for me to have had you guys all join me this year on the tour. I'm repeating myself, but I just need you to know that. And I'll be hitting the road again, and I'm having more fun than I think I've ever had just by knowing this is it. And I'm kind of I'm just kind of more yelling, more screaming, more kind of how come you didn't get that joke, and more really enjoying the pleasure of your company and the pleasure I have spending time with you. So before I go, let's wrap up with a few of the psychoses that are plaguing the country from The Week magazine, and who always give me something to really talk about. And there's a new study, not about profanity, which have found that the optimists there's been a new study that found that the sunny disposition of optimists is often accompanied by bad memory, impaired verbal fluency, and poor decision-making skills. Optimism, the study declares, may be a side product of the true driver, low cognitive ability. Whew. So you're optimistic because your thinking is kind of cloudy. You've got a bad memory, so you can't remember how you got fucked. Wow, Zowie. And I've always considered myself an optimist, so maybe my cognitive ability sucks. Maybe that's why I'm an optimist, because I've said it time and again. You can't be as critical as I am of things unless you can believe that they're really, it should be better, and that it's possible for it to be better, and that it will get better. An optimist, wow. I have to think about that. And then Donald Trump began selling $35 wrapping paper, featuring his mugshot photoshopped in a Santa hat alongside the message, "Never surrender." Whew. There's some, just in case you haven't gotten your Christmas wrapping and you would like to enrage a friend or two, that may be the way to go. It's really it's something that'll certainly make their eyes pop open. I am going to take next week off as we roll out the end of the year, and I thank you for joining me today. And I think you'll really enjoy the rants that I've been reading. The rants that I will read to you, and I've enjoyed everyone that I receive. And if I haven't read them, I am my apologies. There's not enough time. I'm hoping to in the upcoming tour to be able to read a rant a night and get those out to you in front of, so that you can see it done live again in front of an audience. I think that makes a difference. It certainly gives me a lot of pleasure to do it that way. I just can't do it as a whole show. It's a little more. It's a little much, is what it is. And but one I can certainly get out there. And so I wish you a very Merry Christmas, the one that there's no war on. I can assure you. Have a good one. Have a great one, because it's the most wonderful time of the year. Enjoy every minute of it. Enjoy the time you spend with friends. Keep the world at bay for a moment. Close that door and tell the world to go fuck itself, because enough is fucking enough. And I'm going to wish you a happy, happy fucking New Year. I hope it's tremendous. I hope literally we get a year finally in which the government really deals with what needs to be dealt with, where both sides start to learn the idea of compromise, where it's become so surprising how joyous things could be. We are owed a great year. We have been fucked over it too long. The whole world deserves a better year. And here's to us and all of us getting it. Okay? Let that be the gift. Okay? The gift of peace and kindness and love. Yep. I said all that. It's kind of unusual for me, but so we're going to wrap it up now. There's a lot of stuff that I hate in this world. I mean, it's why you listen to this podcast, right? Maybe you agree, maybe you don't, but I know one thing that everybody hates, and that's bad sleep. Maybe you're lying in bed just trying to get to sleep in the first place. Or maybe you're a hot sleeper, so you're waking up dripping in sweat. And that's why I'm glad to partner with Ghostbed. They're a family-owned company, and they've been around for 20 years, so they know what they're doing. They don't just slap together mattresses like some of these other companies. They actually take the time to make a high-quality, made-in-the-USA mattress that's going to help you get the sleep you deserve, and it's going to last. If you're a hot sleeper, you'll want to check out the Ghostbed Luxe, which is dubbed the coolest mattress in the world. Try out your mattress for 101 nights with their sleep trial. Shipping is free, and most orders ship within 24 hours of checking out. Listeners can get 40% off all products site-wide. You can get 40% off mattresses, adjustable bases, and bedding accessories. Or get 50% off when you bundle a mattress with an adjustable base. Use promo code Lewis at ghostbed.com/Lewis for 40% off site-wide. This is for a limited time only, okay? Today, our show is sponsored by Microdose Gummies. Microdose Gummies deliver perfect, that's right, entry-level doses of THC that help you feel just the right amount of good. Have you ever wondered what microdosing is? Those who microdose do so for a variety of reasons. It might be to reduce anxiety, get in the zone creatively, or recover after a strenuous workout. Multitaskers microdose so they can focus and get work done. Others might need it to reduce anxiety or to wind down the day and get some restful sleep. I use a product of theirs called Cotton Candy Kush. That's what they call it. And I take it because it helps put me to sleep and stay asleep. Microdose is available nationwide. To learn more about microdosing THC, go to microdose.com and use code Lewis to get free shipping and 30% off your first order. Links can be found in the show description. But again, that's microdose.com and code Lewis. Mildred Ellison, who's been sending in rants for years from the very beginning, and newspaper articles, which I have no idea where she finds them. And it's always a pleasure to read her stuff, even though I don't get it out more. I try to give everybody a shot, but she's always on top of it. And this Christmas, boy, she is in a rage. And I probably should have saved it for a week, but I didn't want to lose it. So here it comes. Holy fuck, another Christmas is upon us. And you know what that means. Another fucking December to remember. And Santa sucking ass yet again without leaving me a Lexus, a Mercedes, GMC truck, or even a lousy fucking Hyundai. Fuck, I won't even get the big red bow. Every fucking year that fat puss screws me out of the luxury vehicle the TV box says is rightfully mine. Every fucking year. You know why he's so fucking jolly? Because that red-ass fuck enjoys giving me shit I don't fucking want. Underwear, socks, pajamas, towels. He gave me fucking towels last year. Who the fuck wants any of that shit? Listen up, you fat tard bastard. You can cram that Swiss colony cheese, sausage, and tort gift sampler right up your ass. I want what's coming to me. I want Pandora jewelry. I want those Gordon Ramsay fucking hex-clad pans. But most of all, I want that fucking car with the red bow on top. And who can blame you, Mildred? Always nice to hear from you. Have a very merry ho-ho fucking Christmas. Hope all is well. Margaret Martin has this to say to us. I'm a 73-year-old heterosexual female. This is my first smartphone, which I got in October. Now I'm getting all sorts of female chat and escort promotions in my email. Apparently, as long as they are a legit business, I can't do shit about it. I'm in a fight with AT&T to assert my authority over my phone. So it appears that disabling my email often and putting my phone in airplane mode during the major ad time of Xmas may send a message. Probably to a robot. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you very much. Oh, and here's another one from her, just a quickie. Once upon a time, scientists stated that overpopulation would cause people to behave like rats in a maze. Boy, they got that right. Yes, they did, Margaret. Yes, they did. I think it's even crazier than rats in a maze, although I haven't seen rats in a maze in a while. Zachary T nails this quite simply and to the point, and so obvious it's extraordinary. A suggestion to companies with automated customer service lines. If I call outside normal business hours, fucking tell me that up front instead of making me waste time frustratingly yelling into my phone over enunciating shit so your robot can understand me for 20 minutes, only to be told you're currently closed and I should call back later. Fuck you. You told him, Zachary. You told them. It's enunciating shit. I didn't get that out right. Enunciating shit so your robot can understand me for 20 minutes. Boy, God, I hate that. I hate that, Zachary. Thanks. Thank you. From Manuel S. I think you're going to enjoy this. Dear Lewis, I'll be at your show at Montclair this Friday. Originally, I was going to rant about this coming weekend in New York City since it'll be SantaCON. Nothing says more about the holiday festive spirit than a bunch of college students and grads all dressed up as Santas, puking outside of bars after doing their bar crawl up and down the streets of Manhattan. But I digress. I just want to rant about my 85-year-old dad, who, despite having a stroke 7 years ago and since recovered, annoys and frustrates me to the level that I wish would join the SantaCON revelers. I'm in my 50s, single, no girlfriend, and caretaker to my 80-year-old parents, whom I live with. This statement alone could be enough of a rant and a laugh. But my dad insisted I buy him 40 bottles of Listerine. 40 bottles? Why, you may ask? So that he can use it to clean and wipe the bathroom. I told him, do not use the Listerine mouthwash to clean surfaces. Use Listerine only for your mouth and nothing else. But he insists, saying all those other cleaning products that I suggest are poison, and you can't use it orally. What the fuck? I replied emphatically, you're not supposed to use cleaning products orally, just the mouthwash. And in the next 15 minutes, we argued with raised voices and insults to each other that just proved pointless. I then demonstrated to him using a toilet bowl cleaner, pouring it in the toilet and flushing it to show him how to clean the toilet. But he still insists he wants to use the Listerine. I told him he already used the last Listerine bottle and then I'm not buying it anymore. So, if you're reading this, know that I'll be here trying to get a break from the insanity at home, hopefully enjoying an hour or two of entertainment, some holiday cheer before I head back home to my asylum. Happy holidays. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to read it that night, Manuel. And Manuel, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. It has been a long, long few weeks. Manuel S. Thank you for that. That is spectacular. I've got to say, my my mother was always on top of it in terms of cleaning. And so was my Listerine. It was a tough one to read without just laughing. 40 bottles of Listerine. Whew. Man, I don't know where he got that, except for maybe Trump suggested it at some point, as a cure for COVID. Who the fuck knows? If you clean your toilet bowl with Listerine, it'll get rid of the COVID and the COVID that goes into the system, into the reservoirs. Oh man, I've got to stop. That's just, thank you, Manuel. This comes to us from across the ocean, and it's always great to get something from our European neighbors. Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. And this one is from Jacobson, and I tried to find out how I would pronounce it otherwise, but Google did not help me. So I'm sorry, Jacob, if I'm not pronouncing that right. But really, thank you for sending this in. Let me start by saying I'm not an American, but I follow the madness that is American politics quite a bit. I'm personally lucky enough to live in Denmark. Yay, me. Anyway, back to the madness. How in the hell can you fuck up democracy that much? No offense to the brighter folks, but holy fucking shitballs. We got some dumb motherfuckers floating around this place, to quote the great George Carlin. May he rest in peace. Is the American education system that bad? I mean, there's definitely room for improvement here in Denmark, no doubt about it. But we learn enough-ish. I like that. I'm personally an information addict. I crave to know things, just to know them. No other purpose. Simply to try and understand that which can be extremely hard to understand because every action has a thought behind it. But what is that thought? The American experiment, looking from across the Atlantic, seems to be at a split. One side, you have the Democratic Party wanting to govern and make life better for the American people. On the other hand, what is still called the Republican Party should be renamed to the MAGA cult, plain and simple. It has no interest in governing, but rather to break it. because they can. So, America, could you choose the sane option, please? Huh? The sane one. God, I hope you read this rant because it felt good to get it out in the open. The frustration it is watching the shit show over there. Ooh, I hope one day I have the ability to see a live show, doubtful though it is. Now I'll be coming to Europe. I was hoping to get to Denmark, but I will be in Sweden. And I know that's kind of a haul. And I loved Denmark when I was there. Well, this is best regards, Jacobson, Denmark. Thank you. You have a lovely country, I'll tell you that. And it was a pleasure spending time there. And it was truly a pleasure reading that. And for the folks out there watching the Rantcast, that's what they see. Okay? And it makes you crazy, Jacob, to watch it. Imagine living in it. It's insane. We're living in two separate realities. That's what we're doing. And you can't have a democracy when you live in two different you can't have a democracy unless you actually share the same reality. If you're living in different realities, no democracy. Okay? You can't argue over reality. All right? There's one reality. Okay? And pay attention. Please. Thanks, Jacob. Now I'm all upset. Ed Wallace, pissed about the way kids are using the English language. Well, the kids, Ed and the adults and pretty much everybody, but Ed's pissed at the kids. Here we go. Hi, Lewis. My wife and I will be traveling from North Georgia to see you in Bristol, Tennessee tonight. Have you noticed the absurdity of certain language habits of many young people these days? 3 examples come to mind. Prefacing a statement with, I'm not going to lie. Does this mean that these people lie so regularly and routinely that they must be sure we know that they are not lying? Next up are 2 words which are used so often, unnecessarily, literally and actual. For example, I literally broke my toe. Is this to clarify that they are not speaking metaphorically or figuratively? Or I broke my actual toe. Is this to clarify that it wasn't a virtual toe or a pretend toe? I hear these expressions often from people in their 20s. I understand that language is fluid and ever changing, and that there's a big difference between formal written English and spoken English. I'm in my mid-50s and not particularly crotchety, but I suppose I can lapse into the English of a 22-year-old to get my point across. I'm not going to lie, but when you young folk talk like that, you literally sound like actual fucking morons, and you can literally go fuck your actual selves. Well, sincerely, Ed Wallace. Wow. Thank you for that. Boy, when people get pissed, they get pissed. It's really true, though, literally and actual. Wow. I wonder where it always fascinates me from time to time where you were hearing this, Ed, where the kids were saying this, and that they said it so much that it drove you nuts. Thank you, and I hope you had a good time in Bristol. Boy, I did. I really did. Michael O'Toole had something to get off his chest, and here it comes. Lewis, I know this is long, but I didn't know how to make it shorter. Sorry. Don't apologize. We'll roll through it. The big question, what have Republican MAGA actually done in the last 3 years? Besides banning books, attacking LGBTQ, and other rights, including but not limited to a woman's right to decide what she can and can't do with her body. Other than that, and threaten anything or anybody that doesn't agree with what they believe, starting an insane conspiracy that major Democratic figures, along with Hollywood elite, were part of a satanic cult that kidnapped children, then killed them to drink their blood and to get the Norchrome, or whatever the fuck it is. Then they go off on a tangent about how America was founded on and is a country based on Christian values. Sorry, Survey says wrong. America was actually first inhabited, other than Native Americans, by Puritans, escaping the religious rule of King George and the Holy Church of England, and sought a place where they could have, say it with me, religious freedom. And what is religious freedom? Again, say it with me, the rights of one to truly free practice the religion of their choice. I have to bang my head violently into the wall before asking, have any of these people ever picked up an actual history book, or were they banned before they had a chance? Or even took the time to literally read the U.S. Constitution or Bill of Rights? Because nowhere in either does it say or even imply we are solely a Christian nation. Nowhere. It does enshrine the right to practice the religion of your choice. And while they're doing all this, they forget that Trump left office having perpetuated a fourth of the national debt. Okay? Because this might be hard for some Republicans, MAGAs, to wrap their head around. In the first 200 years of our country, of our leaders racked up 3/4 of the national debt Trump had when leaving office. Simpler terms, Trump raised the debt, adding a fourth of that debt. Now, understand, it took 200 plus years for every other president to rack it up, huh? And for some fucking understandable reason, Trump managed to rack up 1/4 of the national debt in 4 fucking years. How's that even possible? Really, how is it? They've threatened to impeach anyone that was not on Trump's side. They've demanded that government officials that run our major government agencies be sanctioned and that their pay be reduced to $1. Now Trump wants to create internment camps, shoot shoplifters in the back as they leave the store, outlaw any media that does not support his ideology, even has talked about a wall at the Canadian border. What's next? The children can only attend Christian national schools, and any parent wanting to homeschool to subvert the control of the government will well off to the camps, and your children will be turned over to be raised by the government and taught Christian nationalist ideology. And all of the children will wear matching brown outfits and get rewarded for telling on people who don't follow the Christian nationalist belief. I don't know why I'm laughing. Who will again go to the camps? People on the far right keep saying, why does the other side keep comparing Trump to Hitler? Duh, okay? Besides comments that are word for word what Hitler has said, please refer to the above. And for what it's worth, this godlike worship that these people have for Trump, saying he's divine, he was ordained by God, etc., is in itself a direct sin and abomination of the 10 Commandments. No other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image. People idolize and worship Trump, even to the point that a golden, craven image of Donald J. Trump was at CPAC 2 years in a row now, with people praising it, getting pictures with it. But my Republican MAGA friends will find a way to clear coat this and distract from the truth of this and justify what is happening. Oh, and Democrats. Well, since Biden took office, the national debt is down, jobs are up for everyone. Inflation is dropping, gas is cheaper, prices are coming down across the board. Even Republicans are claiming credit for infrastructure things like building and repair that has been long needed in their districts, even though they voted against the Biden infrastructure bill that made it possible for any of it to happen. Instead of attacking and holding stupid Republicans representatives accountable like MTG and Boebert and the like that start fights on the House floor, use obscene and foul language on the House floor, showing pornographic photos on the House floor, and threaten members of other parties on the House floor or elsewhere in the Capitol, while Democrats are simply asking that we use the people's house to do the people's business. And this is all because of their demagogues' hurt feelings. Bullshit like The Jews wouldn't have ended up in camps if they didn't have their guns taken away. What the fuck? Until the Nazis entered Poland, the Jews didn't need guns. And then it was too late. Or, if Jesus had an AR-15, they wouldn't have crucified him. Again, did somebody really say that? What the fuck? If Jesus had an AR-15, then you would not be forgiven of your sins from the blood Jesus shed to clean your soul. Because out of all of this, there's one thing I can guarantee, and that on the final judgment day, and you're standing before your God and Jesus, and he says, just asking, I'm one of those I don't know curious type of gods. Where did I say, hate your neighbor? Or when did I say that all the things you would never, ever want to happen to you, you should do to your brother? And lastly, what was with not only the image of Trump that you worshiped and bowed down to, but you even went as far to make it golden. Golden! So before I pass judgment on you, because something else you forgot, I guess, only I can pass judgment. Tell me why you did these things. What will you say honestly in your heart of hearts? What will you tell God? What will be your justification? I don't know. It was Trump's fault. He deceived me and he gave me an apple. Wake up before it's too late. If it isn't already. Food for thought. A lot of food for thought. Oh, maybe too much food for thought. Mikhail O'Toole, thank you for sharing all of that with us. Wow. It's long. I don't know if we'll get it on the air, but thank you. And thank all of you who keep sending in some really wonderful rants. More to follow. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at lewisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy, or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Lewis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me. Aha, Lewis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly.